If you ever go to the Niagara Falls View Hotel, don't stay in room 5849. They'll tell you it's safe. They might say it's the only room available. Don't listen. Go to another hotel if you have to. Don't go in that room. My girlfriend and I decided to visit Niagara Falls as a Valentine's Day weekend away. I booked it all a few weeks in advance, and we were both eagerly awaiting the trip as the days counted down towards the 17th, the weekend after Valentine's Day. When we got there, they told us that they were overbooked, and the person at the check-in desk appeared slightly anxious, as she told us that we were being upgraded at no extra charge. "You'll be staying in a suite with a view of the Canadian Falls, which is an upgrade over your previous room," she said, smiling, but not with her eyes. "Enjoy your stay at the Falls View Hotel." She handed us our room keys and pointed us towards the elevator, telling us we'd be staying in room 5849. I couldn't help but notice that her hand was shaking as she handed the keys to me. One elevator was broken, and so there was a line for the remaining working ones. But we waited and eventually were brought up to our floor at lightning speed, stopping abruptly every 20 feet along the way to let people on and off. We entered our room, and I immediately felt a chill run up my spine. I jerked my head around, trying to find the source of the feeling of eyes upon me. Of course, there was no one in the room but us. "Do you feel that?" my girlfriend Jennifer asked. She shivered and clutched herself. "I don't like this room. Can we get a different one?" Both of us reluctantly entered the suite, and I went over to the phone on the desk in the corner, hoping to reach the front desk. I called downstairs and made an excuse that the room was too cold, which it was suddenly, and was told they were completely booked, and there were no other rooms available. "I guess we'll have to make do," I said. "Well, we're just going to be sleeping here. Do you want to go over to the falls and check out the view for a bit?" "Yes," she said without hesitation. "Let's get out of here." We stayed out in the cold for longer than we should have, until our faces were numb from the February wind coming off the falls. We ventured up and down the pathway and held hands, looking at the misty water being lit up by high-powered multicolored lights. It was cold and windy, but for a while we forgot about that unpleasant feeling we'd had in the hotel room. We went out for dinner at a restaurant where you could look out the window and see the falls, then wandered around visiting shops for a while before heading back to our room. That unpleasant feeling wasn't so strong this time as we entered, and I tried not to mention it. Instead, looking out the window and enjoying the view, which we hadn't done the first time we'd entered the room, too anxious to escape. After a while, we both settled into bed. It was hard to fall asleep, but eventually I did. When I awoke, it was to the sound of splashing water. It felt freezing cold in the room, as if I were in a giant refrigerator. As I exhaled, I could see my breath plume into the air in the light of the casino's fluorescence from outside. I turned my head to the left, looking into the bathroom, which could be glimpsed from the bed. At first, my blurry eyes mistook what I saw, and I thought it was Jennifer having a late-night bath. I blinked, rubbing my eyes, and when I opened them, I saw that Jennifer was in bed next to me, not in the tub. I looked back into the other room and blinked again, clearing my blurry vision. There was a shriveled old woman in the tub, grinning with a smile full of rotten brown teeth. Her eyes were missing, and only dark cavities could be seen there. For a few seconds, I couldn't do anything. I just laid there, frozen. The old woman continued staring at me with her dead-eyed gaze, her rotten smile growing wider, and I felt myself begin to shiver as the room grew even colder. I realized I wasn't doing anything, and tried to open my mouth to scream, but found myself paralyzed. I couldn't move or speak. But then she began leaning forward, swinging her gray, shriveled, waterlogged leg over the side of the tub, and I finally managed to let out a piercing scream. One louder and shriller than ever before in my life. Jennifer woke up and was trying to comfort me, and I realized my eyes were squeezed shut. When I opened them, the woman was gone. I tried to explain to my girlfriend what had happened. Immediately, she was rationalizing it all, telling me it was just a dream. She even went into the bathroom and checked to make sure, like a parent checking the closet for monsters. She assured me that the bathtub was bone dry. It was just a nightmare, she said, coming back into the room. Part of me was terrified that she had her back turned on that room, that the shriveled old woman would sneak up behind her and strangle her from behind. I pictured that wrinkled, water-bloated arm coming around her neck, and that horrible smile peeking out from behind her as she snapped her neck. But none of that happened. It was still and quiet in the room, aside from the sound of my rapid breathing, eventually slowing down to a normal pace. "Are you going to be alright?" Jennifer asked, looking concerned. It's amazing how quickly we can convince ourselves that these types of things were just a dream. If something supernatural has ever happened to you, maybe you can relate. Like an idiot, I told myself it didn't happen, that what Jennifer had told me was true. It was just a nightmare. "Yeah, I'll be okay," I said after a while. "It was just a nightmare. It had to be." For a long time, I didn't sleep. I was afraid to. I was worried that old woman would be there waiting for me in my dreams. I laid there in bed, insisting we leave a light on for what felt like hours. But eventually I must have drifted off to sleep because I was the one who woke up to a scream this time, and also to the sound of the bathroom door slamming shut. "I saw her," Jennifer was screaming, hugging me tightly to herself. "She's in the bathroom. That old woman is in the bathroom." I stood up, and my feet immediately felt wet when they hit the carpeted floor. I looked down to see wet footprints leading up to the foot of our bed, and a huge pool of water there. As if someone had come from the bathtub and stood there for a while, watching us as we slept. For some reason, this time, I didn't feel scared. I felt angry. I felt like I needed to defend Jennifer from this thing which had been terrorizing us and harassing us, making us feel unwanted and unsafe in a room I'd spent hundreds of dollars for. I stood up on shaky legs, forcing myself to take a step forward and then another. "What are you doing?" Jennifer yelled. "She's in there!" Taking a deep breath, ignoring my pounding heart and every ounce of my being telling me to run away, I pushed the bathroom door open and stepped inside. There was no one there. But the room was misty and humid. It felt stifling, as if someone had just taken a 3-hour steaming hot shower in there. Or a long, warm bath. The mirror was fogged over, and as I stood there looking at it, words began to form. Letters being written as if by an invisible finger. "Get out of my room," it said in large block letters. I slowly backed out of the bathroom. It suddenly occurred to me that I didn't know what I was dealing with. This thing could be able to reach into my chest and stop my heart for all I knew. It could be extremely dangerous. "Let's go," I said. "Let's get the hell out of here." We ran out of the room in our shorts and t-shirts, not even wearing shoes. The people at the front desk looked at us like we were crazy, until we told them which room we were staying in. "Oh my gosh," the clerk at the desk said, rapidly typing on the keyboard in front of them. "That room is never supposed to..." After looking at the computer screen for several more moments, they called over a manager. "Hey, Buck, can you come here for a minute?" The two of them spoke in hushed voices for a while, before the manager came over to talk to us. "Alex tells me you're having some issues with your room," he began. "We'll be happy to provide you with a free room, as a token of apology for your inconvenience. Due to our lack of capacity, we can transfer you to our sister hotel for the remainder of your stay. Again, our sincere apologies, and the rest of your accommodations this weekend will be entirely on us." I began to speak up, but Jennifer grabbed my hand and gripped it firmly. She just wanted to leave this hotel. And I couldn't blame her, so did I. "We'll need someone to grab our things from the room," I said. "I'm not going back up there." He gulped in a very telling way. "I'll see what I can do." An hour later, a young, terrified-looking bellhop delivered us our luggage. Then we left that hotel, thankfully, behind. I did some research when I got home, trying to find out exactly what happened in that room, and why that ghost was so angry, so insistent on keeping others out of there. I wondered who that woman was and why she was so tied to that room, and the solitude it afforded. What I discovered after some deep diving online was that someone died in that hotel room. A woman who was staying with her boyfriend on a vacation, just like we were. But he left her after a bitter argument, telling her he was going to go sleep with someone else. Apparently she loved him more than anything, and was so depressed over him leaving that she wanted a way out. The woman went back to her hotel room and took a bath, falling asleep in the tub after consuming a lot of alcohol and sleeping pills. She hoped he would come back there to find her, but he never did. Instead, a hotel employee stumbled across her body after checkout time, when she came to clean the room. Ever since that day, people who stay in the room say they feel cold chills up their spine. Some say they feel hands running through their hair in the dead of night as they attempt to fall asleep. And others, especially couples like us, find wet footprints on the carpet when no one has set foot inside the bathtub. Become a channel member today for early access, bonus videos, and special emojis only available to members. Check out the description below or click the join button for more info. Today's video was supported by patrons like Mark from Earth, Crimson Muse, Joy Burton, Diane Showers, Mark Sewall, Cheryl James, Pick Your Sticker, Teddy Dog, Clue 404, Mamakato, Dante Kincaid, Zarin Ray, Angela Donovan, Blarian50, Devin Kyle, Timothy Baird, Ajeti, Bert Turner, Bajani Espinal, Michael Pierce, Big Joe, Carrie Harkonnen, LaDonna Spivey, Scott Tanaka, Tom Stewart, Sherman Davis, Bryce Shelton, Susan McClendon, Elise Batiste, Lisa and the Cult Jam, Open Circuit, Fabulavore, Raymond Jaggers, That Darn Fox, Raison Detra, Kai Gaming 99, Wendy Burns, The Wendigo, Michael Squishy Park, The Gemstar, Vault 77 Citizen, Puppy Dan, Clovis Wolf, Eldridge Elm, Derek Prey, Elder Being, KC Hawaii, Rob T, Tragic Mermaid, Darren Fishnaller, Cloves Zanoya Harris, Roe Underwood, Florida Man Luke, Bethany's Mom, Winter's Kiss, Sam Brook, The White Stag, Corey Connection, No Name, Marta Cara, Professor Elm, Kathy Barrickman, Cybard Sands, Steve Hennessy, Melanie Sanders, The Archivist, Rob Smith, Term 4, Naz Razio, J. David Wellman Jr., Parker Lewis, Monica Moya, D-Master 311, Britt the Alchemist, Taylor the Fox, Holly Howarth, Julia McWilliam, Lilypad, Serena and Jesse, Diego Rodriguez, Oziel Perez, Wolfcat 128, Kamisha Coffin, Jen Scott, Avanza, Lucian Haran Allen, Hunter Nystrom, Tyson Harris, Ricky Monroe, Just Gaming, Mastiff Nomad, James Lowe, and Alabama Nana. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon page at patreon.com/Jordan Group Horror. As a patron, you get access to bonus videos and content, as well as a Discord channel. You'll be credited at the end of every video going forward, and if you decide to stay for 3 months, I'll name a character after you which will be featured in a Hollow's End story. Links to join the Patreon are in the description. Thanks everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment to help the channel continue to grow. It really does help out a lot. And see you again next time at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you have a great night.